Alrighty, welcome back to another Bad Batch Season 3 episode review. We got no Jake this week, but we do have our boy Nate. Nate, glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Looking fresh in that soccer jersey.
Dude, the Lima jersey.
The Lima, Alianza Lima. Good one.
I don't know what that means, but cool.
That's just the team.
Oh, okay. But we had a thriller this morning, last night, Bad Batch episode 13. And I want to get everyone's thoughts on it immediately. Let's start with Nate.
All right, well, I think Lucas will have a lot more to say than me, so I'll keep mine short and to the point. But I enjoyed it.
You'll be surprised, actually.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I thought it was a necessary step. There's 2 episodes left, right after this. Is that right? It's kind of crazy to me that they're trying to fit all of what I feel like needs to happen in 2 episodes. That's kind of where I'm at. Like they needed to getting there is like the whole premise of the season pretty much is like how do we find this place? And so they had to like spend time finding it and like finalizing that. But man, I just feel like there's so much to do and we've only got 2 episodes. But those are my initial thoughts. It was a great episode. I liked it personally. I don't know, Lucas and you might feel different, but I thought it was fine.
So I will premise this. We started this whole series saying that we weren't going to give our initial thoughts yet, like until we recorded this. But me and Jason chatted about it a little bit before.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because there was a chance that it was just gonna be you and me, Nate, and so I was like,
yeah.
Lucas was like, let's talk about it.
Let's just chat about it. And I was because the whole reason why is I thought I'm in the kind of in a similar boat, Nate, where I thought it was a good connecting point. But yeah, like they didn't show a lot when there's so much left to do, right? And I wish they would have showed more to kind of give us that kind of entrance into like the whole like, okay, this is where the biggest moment of the season is going to come in. So I thought it was a good episode. I thought it was great, but it wasn't this whole like mind-blowing like what's gonna like revolutionize the season sort of thing. I just thought it was like, okay, this is a great connecting episode that I wish had more content, or I wish had like a few more minutes in the end that we could, grasp this like where the story is going.
Yeah.
So those are my initial thoughts.
So Nate, I need now that Lucas has shared that I need you to go down memory lane a little bit to 2020 when we watched season 7 Clone Wars finale, right?
Yeah.
And if you remember, that first episode of that finale arc ends not giving us everything we want. Does it not? What happens is they end up in the sewers and she's surrounded by Maul's Mandalorians.
Yeah.
And all you get is to see Maul and Ahsoka next to each other. And that's it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're left on this cliffhanger and we're like, oh wow. And we see the next episode and we're like, oh my goodness, that was freaking amazing. Right?
Yeah.
But our opinion of episode 9 is changed because episode 10, we watched it right after. We binged the season, right?
Yeah.
So our opinion of this episode might be hindered because we don't know what's coming next, right?
Yeah.
So that is my rebuttal to both of y'all, because I thought this episode was freaking amazing, arguably the best in the season. Even though you make the argument it could be filler, but I think I wouldn't put it as filler because they get to Tantis technically. If they were still searching, that's where I'm like, okay, what the heck? That's where like last week's episode when I'm talking with Jake about it, I was like, yo, if they don't freaking get to Tantis in the next episode, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself because they're running out of time. But now that they're on Tantis, we still have 60 minutes of content because the finale is an extra long episode, if I'm understanding correctly. So with it being a little bit on, we still have an hour of heist, right? And I think this was enough of a intro arc episode where Omega's assembling her team and they finally find a way to Tantus and Echo's back because he's a freaking dog. And Rampart actually helps them out, Like I think it was enough of an intro to the arc for me to not be hung up on it as filler because we are big filler people, So any reaction to that? Any reaction to that from either of you?
So I mean, you guys have probably already chatted, but like 60 minutes still to me is concerning. Like I still am a little bit like I mean, you bring up season 7. That's a whole different animal. Like
I know
stakes were way different there. But I get your point, and I see that. But I'm kind of like, do they have enough? Like they have to figure out. They get to Tantus. How do they infiltrate? What happens with Omega? How does she actually like get up the chute or whatever? And I don't know. But you think kind of what I'm hearing is you think that there's enough time they can tie that up in a bow, and we'll feel happy about it.
It took 5 minutes for Tech to die. So
and Lucas's life to become better.
Yeah, Lucas, outside of Lucas, then we all felt like that wasn't enough remorse. So I don't know if we're going to get enough remorse.
Yeah.
But I truly think, Lucas and I kind of mentioned this, I think we now know that this show is ending on Tantus.
Yeah.
3 or 4 episodes ago, that wasn't a confirmed thing. But because we're so limited on time, the show's ending on Tantus somehow. It'll end. So.
Yeah.
But
no, I just want to jump into here. I can do this all day, and we'll mention this every single time. I don't hate Tech. I think Tech's great. I was very saddened by his loss.
See, no, we know. I'm just not on the show often, so I got to make sure and bring it up.
Well, you and these guys every single time we mention Tech, I always get glances, and they're like,
"Bro, when he died and you said good riddance, bro, there's no coming back."
Never
There's no coming back.
Ever said that. There wasn't. Nor did I ever say that. Nor can you even provide any evidence that I said that. So it never happened.
Bro.
All right.
Never happened.
But
yeah, sorry, just wanted to kind of tie this up, my thoughts on here. But yeah, basically, like I'm in the same boat as you, Nate, where I'm getting a little bit nervous that this ending that's supposed to be like this is the end of the Bad Batch. This is the end of the Clone Wars series. I'm nervous that I'm hoping that like the next few episodes are a little bit longer, just so they could fit everything they want to in here, right? Because not only do we have to watch them get on Tantus, we have to watch them infiltrate the lab
base.
We have they have to meet up with Echo or with Omega and with all the Force sensitive kids. They have to see if all the clones are still there and try to bring out all the clones, and then they have to try to leave, right, while destroying the operation, because they're probably there to also be like, make sure this never happens again. So I'm just nervous that it's going to be kind of a rushed ending because of that and because of the timeline restrictions. And that was my thing with this episode. I just wish that there was more. So that's kind of just what I'm saying.
One last thing I'll add. For me, I feel like I'm in between you two, where I think this was a great episode, and I think Lucas also thinks it was a fine episode, right? But I think if there was, it's not this episode, but maybe like some prior episodes that, hey, like maybe we didn't need to spend so much time and other things to give the end of the season more time. But that's all I'll say on that.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that either. I'm thinking about what we've received, and we can't change the past, right? So like,
yeah,
right.
Definitely.
But
in Dave we trust.
In Dave we trust. There you go. But let's start with the Omega side. So there's two sides, obviously. Omega's caught up in the vault, and then there's the Hunter Crosshair Wrecker side with Rampart, right? So let's start with Omega. She in this episode is immediately thinking about how to get out. There's no remorse. There's no, oh, woe is me. It's like, okay, I've been here before. I can get out again. And I really liked her mentality. I honestly thought it was giving me a remembrance of the season 3 finale of Ahsoka being stranded on the island with the other younglings, and trying to take over and, like be the leader and give them hope. And that was the vibe I was getting from Omega, and she proved it by finding a way out. Well, or finding the means to potentially escape. Did you guys have any thoughts on that whole side of the story with Omega?
Yeah, I can go real quick. Yeah, I think like you're saying, it's cool to see how she's growing as a leader. It's kind of, she, not gonna lie, she's annoyed me like in past seasons. I've been so annoyed, but as the seasons progress, she's like growing on me more and more as a character. And one part in particular, I remember, she's asking questions, she's getting information about what the routine is, like, so she's getting the details she needs to figure out that escape plan. And they bring up, how the one kid tried to escape and it didn't work out. And then I think he said like there's no escape from here, like it's impossible. And like you could just like see the like lack of hope. And then like you're saying, she's like, you know what? I actually escaped out of here. And you know what else? I'm gonna do it again and you're coming with me. And then immediately like the rest of her team, like you said, that she's started to put together here. I mean, they're all kids, but you could see a change, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to go past that because that's exactly the point I would have brought up. I just love like I echo the words that Nate said. Like, I wouldn't put her in like an Ahsoka Tano sense where it's like she was annoying at the beginning and then she's kind of like risen to this amazing character that we all know and love. I think she could get there. I think there could be potential for her to be similar to that. But yeah, that whole moment where she was just like, all these kids have just been depressed. They're like, we're never leaving. Like, this is our home now, right? She's like, I just want to go home and see my family. But Omega's just like, but I got you guys. Like, you're coming with me no matter what. And that hope that she was able to bring to them was awesome. So, yeah, echo those words.
Okay, well, I guess we all felt Ezra was annoying at the beginning, right? Did we all feel that way too?
I liked
Season,
Ezra.
I felt that
season
way.
1 Ezra?
I was fine with him.
Okay. He wasn't as annoying as most people would say he was for me, but that first couple episodes, I was like, bro, who is this kid? But
Yeah.
Fair.
anyways, but yeah, great. Omega's definitely fulfilling that role of, the new leader for this younger generation, and I thought that was cool. And then let's go over to the Bad Batch side with Hunter. So they basically don't have anything from Rampart because Tantis is so, locked down, but he does tell them how to do it. And so this episode is a lot of it's a lot of Echo's droid functionality, being able to break in, get on a medical frigate, and take down their proximity sensors so that Hunter can dock onto the ship and go into hyperspace with the medical frigate. I personally thought this heist was crazy. I was on the edge of my seat. I thought Echo killed it. I thought he was freaking awesome. I loved Rampart. I thought Rampart honestly played a great. He's definitely redeeming himself from being this hated character. Now, I don't know if he's Agent Callus, but he's
Yeah.
definitely making strides. Whether it's what he truly wants for himself or not, like it's cool to watch him team up with the Bad Batch. But yeah, anything on that front? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I figured I kind of the one that thought about Agent Callus at the very beginning, because it was like this Imperial kind of turned, basically Imperial turned like betrayed by the Empire sort of thing, or like kind of losing faith in the Empire and then turning to like the rebellion sort of thing. I don't think Rampart's going to be like that because Rampart's just too arrogant. And the nice thing about Callus is that he was boastful, like he was arrogant in itself, but it wasn't like a self-righteous thing. It was like he was just a soldier trying to do his duty, right? And we see him kind of talk about what happened, when he attacked the Lasat people and all that stuff, and the regret that he felt from that. And I don't think Rampart's that type of guy where he would regret blowing up Camino. And so it's cool the fact that he's like, well, I don't have anything better to do other than just rot in an Imperial camp, so I might as well help these guys. And the fact that they're bringing him to Tantus is going to be interesting to see. But yeah, no, I agree. Like Echo was sick. Like that part where he was going through the hangar. I just loved kind of like the stealth moves that he was able to like use, and I thought that was really like it was great animation. The way that they animated him doing that was super sick, and I thought they had to because of all the terminals and stuff. Like Echo was the only one that was able to break in because he's kind of like the impromptu tech sort of thing where he's not as smart, but he's definitely like as resourceful with that droid link arm. So
Yeah, that's why he's the ARC trooper. But yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. I think
Nate
with
just casually dropping these cold Clone Wars quotes.
doing what I can. Yeah, so Rampart wise, I'm interested, like you mentioned, in him. He's going to Tantus with them. I'm interested to see what his role is going to be in that side of things. I feel like Tantus is the place where it's not like they know who's supposed to be there and who's not, like I would assume. Whereas at the like spaceport thing, it makes sense, they're not supposed to be there, but they're kind of able to get away with it. It's not as high security. So I'm just interested to see, like, will they try to incorporate him and like use him to maybe use his imperial knowledge to infiltrate, or kind of what, or will he betray them while he's there to try to get some leverage and say, hey, like I was in prison, but I did this. And I don't know, but given his circumstances, that probably wouldn't even work. But I am interested to see that. Yeah, Echo. I'm glad to get some more Echo content. It has not been present in a while, and Echo's a dog. He especially if this is like the last sort of Clone Wars esque series we're gonna get like this, then I'm all for getting more Echo content, getting the batch together.
Yeah, and I really have been not understanding why Echo hasn't been in it more. Like we've gotten the 2 Rex episodes, we got Wolf, we still haven't gotten Cody, but I don't think Wolf's been done justice yet, and I honestly don't think we're gonna get more of Wolf. I at this point, if they did more with Wolf, I don't think they'd be doing the Bad Batch justice on their season finale, right? It's kind of like Book of Boba Fett having 2 episodes dedicated to the Mandalorian, like that. Like you can't do that for this show. So
and arguably being the best episodes of that show were not the ones with Boba Fett in it.
Yeah. Like what the heck?
Can't do that.
So honestly, yeah, it's too bad that we're at that point though with these other clones, and we're probably not going to get any more answers at this point. But yeah, honestly, I loved the music. It almost felt like Emery was giving Omega the means to escape, but I don't think she had a clue that Omega grabbed the knife or whatever, the blade. And so it's interesting to see Emery has completely committed to her method of running the vault. And there was that whole scene where Omega like barely stays hidden, right? We're kind of jumping back to this Omega thing because I don't know how much there is to cover left about the Bad Batch side of it, but I'm curious your thoughts on, do you like, is Emery gonna be overridden by these other doctors and scientists, or like, do you think that'll play a factor at all? Do you think Emery's going to, come around officially? Like, What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think that I could easily see her in some way helping Omega and the kids because she already knows it's wrong, right? She went to Nala Se and was like, "What's going on?
Yeah,
Like,
tell me everything.
yeah, tell me what's happening." And um, but so I could easily see her in the finale playing a role in helping them trying to escape, but getting caught and getting killed. Either getting killed or being thrown in prison. But I could easily see like maybe Omega's stuck behind a locked door and Emery opens it for kind of thing. Just something not a huge role, but something small. Um that I think is I don't know, that's the main thought I have right now. Either that or she'll kind of just be on the outside of things.
Yeah, I think she definitely has like a larger role to play in this whole thing, and I think we're gonna see kind of um because I think it's like it comes perfect circle, right? Where at the beginning, literally when Omega and Crosshair are escaping, she's like, "Come with us," and she's like, "I can't," right? She's like, "No, I'm not gonna do this." But I think it's gonna come full circle when they get to a point where like we're escaping, you gotta come with us, and she's gonna either yeah, kind of like what you said, Nate, where she's either going to sacrifice herself to kind of like save them, or she's going to end up going with them. Are my thoughts, and I think that's going to be an interesting story because I Emery's been such an interesting character. We don't know that there's a lot about her, and we haven't really gotten anything about her backstory, and so it is going to be interesting to see the different part that she'll play in helping them escape, or if she's going to be like complete 180 and like betray them or turn it she'll be a Nala Se or she'll be like a Hemlock sort of thing where there's these two dualities to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the aesthetics, right? We obviously have loved the soundtrack for this entire season. But something I love that they did in this episode is they had to blend in their armor, right? And so their armor I thought looked so clean. Like I thought it was actually like I like what they've been using, but I just thought the way it looked for this episode for their, disguise, like I thought it
Yeah.
was freaking awesome. Did you guys do you guys like it as well? Any thoughts?
Oh yeah. I loved it. I'll let you talk, Lucas, but I I'm a big fan of the classic batch armor, like from Clone Wars. I feel like this was a lot closer to that. And so I mean it's simple, but I thought it was so clean when I saw him doing that.
Yeah, agreed. The sleek black look, like as black as they could get it, was super clean, and I'm always about that. Like you still saw some of the little color accents kind of pop out, but like on Hunter's helmet, like it being almost like strictly black was so clean, and on like Crosshairs
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And then
Yep.
last thing we can wrap it up. The final moments of the episode where Rampart gets out of his seat, runs over to. Well, hang on. Let me preface that. So Rampart's complaining, saying it's not a good plan, and Crosshair tells him, "Hey, relax. Like Echo's got this,"
Yeah.
And that was a really cool line by Crosshair, who's
Yeah.
struggled with his trust in the team. I feel like the only person that has not had any issues with any member of the Bad Batch is Echo. He's kind of like the glue, right? And that's why we've kind of missed him, is because everyone resonates with Echo. Maybe it's because he's
Yeah.
the latest part of the batch, maybe because he's just a good guy. I don't know, but like for some reason, I just feel like Crosshair's never quarreled with Echo. Even in season 1, season 2, they just had this mutual respect. And I think him saying that was like a sign of Crosshair trusting more of the Bad Batch, but also how dope Echo is. And when they raise someone up like that, there's always that chance where their time is coming.
It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. I don't
But
know.
but then Rampart, right? Rampart is like, hey, like we need to abort the mission. Hunter's like, negative. Let me just flip the ship upside down and dock it right before they go to light speed. Like that was pretty sweet. I felt like I was on the edge of my seat, and I mean, the music was awesome, and now they're technically, I know it's technical, but they're technically on their way to Tantus now. So, any final thoughts on any of that? Any thoughts before we jump into our scores?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think with 2 episodes left, they're gonna throw us for a loop and be like, "Oh no, their ship got undocked during
Yeah,
hyperspace."
yeah,
I don't think that's gonna happen. But
yeah.
I just would have appreciated seeing Tantus at the end. But no, I mean, I thought that was a cool part because it showed Hunter being like, "Hey, I trust my crew." Like you may not have a lot of that in the Empire, Mr. Rampart, but like here we're brothers and I trust him. So I know he's gonna get this done. And then like he even trusted him so much that he's gonna do it. I just gotta make sure that I'm ready. And that he does it and he was able to clip on right before they were going. So that was super sick.
Yeah, so cool. Just like this is our chance. Echo's already there. We have to go save Omega. We have to go save all the clones in the facility. We're gonna make that happen. I thought that was so cool. He just uh like you said, just trusted and sent it. It was cool. I thought it was a cool way to end it. How it was just like he barely latches on and then they punch it.
Yeah. Well, Lucas, what do you got? Give us your scores.
Okay, so originally I was gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Um which I know to Jason's dismay. But after talking about it and kind of hearing your guys' points and actually just thinking about it more, it's like I'm honestly thinking of it in tandem with like the last, 2 episodes that we've already seen. I think this is a good way to go out, and I'm willing to raise that to an 8 out of 10. So that'll be my official score.
We're glad you raised it. I'll probably say I'm trying to think about what I ranked the other ones I've ranked, and I'll probably say like an 8.5 out of 10. I think that to your point at the beginning, this episode's score is so dependent on what happens next for me that I don't want to put it higher. But but I'll go with 8.5. I'll go with 8.5.
No, that's
I think
great.
I
That's
gave
great. That's just what I told Lucas before we hopped on this pod. Is are we ranking this episode based on what happens next, or is like this standalone episode by itself? And Lucas was like, "Well, I'm not the kind of guy that watches one episode randomly. Like that's just not who I am." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's a good point. I guess you do have to really wait for everything to finish out for you to give
Right,
an opinion."
right. And I and
But
I kind of didn't rank it that way because of it. I saw it as like a part of it, not just individual. So
nice. Jason?
I'm with you, Nate. I'm going 8.5. It's not the highest ranked Bad Batch episode of the 3 seasons, but it's definitely higher because holy crap. I thought it was an amazing episode. Action packed, great soundtrack, and more answers. They finally get to Tantus technically, and I just think what they're doing with Rampart and Echo coming back, I think that all just came together really well. And Lucas is always bringing up the point of I want it. A lot of my ranking comes in of how much I want to watch the next episode, and like I really want to watch the next episode because I know this is now that we've made it to Tantus, like this is the finale arc, like it's gonna happen. So
yeah,
definitely
we're
eight
in
and a
the end
half for
game.
me.
Nice.
So
So,
all right, well, catch us for next week's episode, and Nate, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
peace.